Welcome again to Medrash Umaisa, where we share a story for the upcoming Shabbos, Parshas Yisro, the Parsha of Matan Torah, the giving of Torah to Am Yisrael. Years ago, at one of the Daf Yomi Siyumim, a Rav spoke and told of an experience he had visiting Russia, where he was taken by a local Rav in Russia to come see a new development, a Daf Yomi shir that he had begun in Russia, in someone's apartment. And as they were going there, he told the visiting American rabbi that you will see that the shir is so full, there's no more room to enter the apartment. Tonight, actually, I'm planning to ask one person who comes every night, but immediately falls asleep, if he wouldn't mind not coming and giving up his seat so that someone who can really participate will join in. The rabbi from America went along, and he saw at the beginning of the shir, the Russian Rav approached a very large, burly man and quietly and politely said something to him in Russian. The man turned red in the face, started yelling in Russian, then stood up in a way that looked very threatening and started to roll up his sleeves, which not only had very large muscles under them, but also scars all over his arms. And he pointed to the scars and yelled some more and sat down very stubbornly. After the shir, the visiting rabbi asked his friend what went on there. He said, well, that was the person I told you about, the man who comes every night and falls asleep. And I told him, listen, you fall asleep every night, maybe you won't come and let somebody else have your seat. He told me that he used to go to bars every night. And when he would sit in the bar, he would join a table of people and drink and chat. One night, Russian police burst in, and they grabbed everyone who was sitting at his table and took them off to the police station. They started to interrogate them one by one. When he went into the interrogation room, they said, we know that you are a smuggler. We know that you bring in contraband, black market stuff. Where do you get it? Where do you store it? And he said, no, I don't. I really don't. And they started to beat him. And they said, you are. We know you are. He says, I'm not. And they continued to beat him. And they said, we know you are because everyone at that table was a black marketeer. And if you were sitting with them, you are one of them. He said, that's how I got those scars. And that's where I learned that lesson. If you sit with them, you are one of them. He says, I don't want to give up my seat because every night when I come to this shir, when I sit with you, I'm one of you. This story really illustrates a principle that Tolner Rebbe Shlita would mention and quote very often. The Medrash tells us the following. Amar Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said, Minayin ata omer, how do you know? Ilu ha-Yisrael chaserim afilu echad, afilu adam echad. How do you know that if the Jewish people were missing even one person standing around Har Sinai at Matan Torah, one person overslept, that it wouldn't have happened? As the pasuk says, Ki bayom hashlishi yared Hashem, on the third day Hashem came down, le'enei kol ha'am, to the eyes of the entire nation, al Har Sinai. The Medrash continues to tell us that Rabbi Huda Nasi used to apply this every time he gave shir. It said when he would come to be dorish in the Beis Medrash Hagadol, before he would enter, he would ask, Ru'u im niskansu kol ha'kohol. Please check that everyone is there. Why did he do that? They said he learned it from the pasuk of Matan Torah. Ve'amar Hashem elai, Moshe Rabbeinu describes how Hashem told him, Haki aliyah sa'om, gather together the people, v'ashmi'em es devarai. The Rebbe would emphasize that meant every single Jew who was there, on whatever level they were at, even the lowest, and we know that there were Jews there on a very low level. For example, Dasan v'Aviram, who were already problematic back in Mitzrayim, and continued to make problems in the Midbar. If they were not there by Har Sinai to say Nasav and Ishma, it wouldn't have happened. Each Jew has something unique. Each Jew brings something to the table. Each Jew is necessary for Kabbalah Satorah. No Jew can be excluded. No Jew can be disenfranchised. And every Jew has the right and should be told that they have the inheritance of Torah, and they can come to the table at any time. Torah tziva lanu Moshe, Ma'rosha Kihilas Yaakov. Have a wonderful Shabbos.